Welcome back to Kindred Pens. I'm Gideon Drake,
I am J.D. Crist.
and today, what we're going to be talking about is probably going to hit a little harder than some of the other episodes that we've done. Because what I was really wanting to talk about today is the side of indie authors that nobody really wants to talk about. It's some of the things that just really don't get spoke about enough, I don't think. It's not about all of the exciting screenshots that you see or any of that, but what we want to talk about is the emotional and mental side of being an indie author and just the stuff that people quietly deal with behind the scenes. First thing is kind of the emotional crash after publishing. Uh, so, I mean, most indie authors have spent months. Some people have spent years working on writing a book. So you're constantly working towards something and you've got a goal in front of you that you're trying to reach. And you go through all the things and then you hit this moment after you finally release it. But a lot of times the authors don't really feel, kind of excited after it's over with, because to me, I always feel exhausted after it's
Um,
over, because you've written the book, you've done the editing, and you've dealt with getting your covers done, getting everything done, getting it published, ready to go. Then you set your launch date. And then all the way up till your launch date, you're doing all the things. Some people are doing the ARC reads out to people, waiting to get those back, kind of following up with everything that's going on there. And then pushing it out, trying to build the hype and the buzz around it to try to get a lot of people behind it. And then the book's released. And then after it's released, then what's next?
you feel like you're back at square one.
Exactly. And so when you spent that long working towards something, and then all of a sudden you're like, what do I do now? And so it's really exhausting with all the work that you put into it. And then there's that kind of like that mental lull that you get into afterwards. That silence afterwards can really mess with some people. And then what if your book launch didn't go as well as what you thought it would?
That happens
Um,
more often than not, unfortunately.
exactly. And I think that's kind of the dangerous part, is because a lot of times authors attach their emotions to kind of the immediate results. And if it if it didn't do as well as you thought it would, then you could be getting depressed. And I think that's one of the things that kind of plays into um, the next part too, is because you know most writing careers are built pretty quietly. It's not that instant success, and that's one of the dangers of social media, is because after you publish it, then the social media is the next thing. Is you may see some of these other authors doing videos about maybe some successes that they've had, and you automatically tie yours to kind of a comparison of comparing you to where they are. And I think that gets pretty dangerous when you're doing that, because it can kind of create this false sense of insecurity for you.
I fell into that a lot early on. And I think a big part of that just has to deal with changing your mindset when it comes to that. I mean, you may go into somebody else's release party on social media and they've sold, I don't know, 120 books. And, and you may feel down, but Or you can look at it as, hey, that's my goal for next time. I want to figure out what they did to make that happen and see if maybe I can build on that.
Yeah, I kind of figured you was going to say something like that, JD.
I couldn't help it.
I think one of the dangers, and we've talked about it on here before too, is that kind of imposter syndrome where you may be a new author that's starting out and you see other people having success and you think that you should be where they are. But what you don't know is you don't know of all of the book launches that they've had that didn't go well, or how many years they've done writing. And you may be comparing your, say, like chapter 2 to their book 7 or 8, where they've got a lot more experience going through this. They've been through the ups and downs. They've had their share of things that didn't go the way they necessarily wanted them to. And it's really kind of difficult. And it's so easy, especially with social media, because social media is so much about instant gratification, where everybody's
Those people are only going to post their wins. They're not going to post, hey, look,
right.
go to my release party.
Yeah. I mean, it's really easy for you to kind of fall behind or think that you're falling behind when maybe you might, when you're probably right where you want to be. Because a lot of those people, like I said, they've been doing it for, maybe 5, 6, 7 years. I mean, I did the same thing whenever I first started publishing mine too, is there was a few people that I followed and they'd been writing for 15 years and had 7, 8 books out. And then you see all the wins all the time. And then you get to feeling like that you should be where they're at. And if it don't happen right away for you, then you think that you're doing something wrong. But I think what you really have to remember and keep in mind is that a writing career is typically built over several years and a lot of work. And those people have already been through all the things that you're going through. And that comparison thing really can hurt you more than it helps you.
Definitely. They've already taken their lumps. I mean, expecting to hit it all right out of the gate is like waking up one morning and thinking you can run a marathon without training or anything. Like, no, you can't.
Well, I did it once or twice.
Well, not all of us are the man, the legend. Okay.
It wasn't a fun time, but there was one time that there was a half marathon that I was wanting to run, and Tina was like, "Are you going to go do this or not?" And I was like, "I haven't even trained for it." She said, "It's okay, you'll be fine." And I wasn't necessarily fine, but I managed to get through it, not in the best way, which kind of is kind of like this too. I mean, you know, you push and push, and it is mentally draining for you to kind of expect that you're going to get that instant, that social media is all about going viral and hitting it big right off the bat with one thing. And I'll be honest with you, that rarely happens. You see it and you hear about it so much that it makes you feel like that is normal. But I can promise you that is not normal, and that's not what usually happens. These writers that you see on social media that are having success, I mean, like JD said, they've took their lumps, and we know all about that.
I'm still taking mine. I don't know.
I am too. And the thing is that when you get like that, I've been there too, where I thought that I should be doing better than what I am because I see other people doing it. And there's been times where it's made me want to just quit and not do it anymore. Have you ever been there, JD?
Oh yeah, more than once. I'll fully admit it. My first series, I gave up marketing 6 months after I released book one because I figured nobody was reading it. What was the point? The only reason I finished writing the series was because I had family members that wanted to know how it ended. And then I decided to take another stab at it and jump back in and been having my ups and downs ever since, but I've hung in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's the authors that stay consistent for a long time. They will usually outperform the people who are trying to go viral overnight because it takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of consistency. Honestly, most people quit way too early. So that's where you have to try not to fall into that trap and don't quit. Keep going forward. I mean, I think I remember being on social media one time and I was talking to another person on there that was trying to sell their books. And it was like, yeah, I haven't made a sale in like 3 weeks. And I was like, yeah, I can feel your pain. I've been there too. And she said, but you know what? Whether I sell anything or whether I don't, I'm going to keep coming on here and I'm just going to keep showing up. And sooner or later, the readers will come.
There was a point I went 6 months without making a sale, and I just kept showing up, going, "Hey, I've got books. Talk to me about my books."
I mean, we do the same thing. I mean, you'll get in this spurt where you may have quite a few sales and you may have them like in a string of days or a week or whatever. And then you're like, yeah, this is what it should be like all the time. And then you'll go 3 or 4 weeks and you might sell 1 or 2 books over that whole 3 or 4 weeks. And then you're like, what the heck am I doing? What am I doing wrong? And then all of a sudden, here you'll have a night where you sell like 12 books in one night or something. That happens to me all the time, and it drives me absolutely nuts. And it makes me like, what am I doing wrong? And you're always trying to change things up to try to figure out what you're doing wrong. And maybe it's that you're not doing anything wrong at all. Maybe it's just, that's just social media for you.
Yeah, you'll sell to everybody that you have around you right then, and then it takes the algorithm forever to get you out to some new people. So you get your lull, and then you get your
Yeah,
get sales again.
it definitely ebbs and flows. It's just like this. And it's really easy to get irritated and frustrated and think that you're doing something wrong or that you failed at something. And that's where a lot of people end up quitting. And that's really the time. Those times, honestly, is pretty much, I feel like that's where the careers are made, is during those times.
Mm-hmm.
Because it gives you a chance to reflect and maybe try some things differently that if you was having the instant success that you wouldn't try, and you learn a lot of things that you wouldn't normally learn. And so when you're down in those trenches, that's really when you learn the most.
And it's always important, I think, to be open to trying new things, whether it's going live for the first time or changing what time you go live or what type of content. At the end of the day, social media becomes a popularity contest. And I know a lot of us bookish people, we're not very good at being popular when we were young, and we're not any better at it being adults. So you got to hang in there. Just don't be afraid. Don't put yourself in a box and just sit there and wait for people to find you. You have to put yourself out there a little bit.
I can't tell you how many times that I have been on a live talking about my books to 2 people for 2 hours.
Yeah,
And you're like, what the heck?
person in my
Where's
life.
everybody at? That kind of brings us into the last topic that I wanted to talk about during this episode too, is when writing stops being a hobby and it feels more like a job. I started writing because it was fun. It was a good outlet, and it was a fun hobby for me to kind of create something from nothing that I enjoyed. And I still enjoy it, but it has gotten to the point where it feels a lot less like a hobby than it used to.
The writing part itself can still be fun, like that first draft, but when you get into the marketing and social media and that aspect of it, yeah, it becomes a business. It's a job. So it can get a little daunting.
Yeah, because I mean, you get to a point where it's not necessarily about writing when inspiration hits you, but sometimes you feel like, oh, well, I need the next one. And it becomes part of your identity, it becomes part of your life, and it kind of becomes part of your future. And sometimes it happens to people after their first book, and sometimes it happens when readers start returning or when somebody messages them and tells you how the story affected them. And then suddenly the thing that you tried to do kind of privately with writing and doing it for fun, then it almost feels like, oh, well, these people read my books and they liked it, and now they're waiting. Now they're looking for the next book. So now I've got to hurry up and get this next one out because there's people that's waiting for the next one.
And I think
And
part of that's speared by social media because social media is always looking for the next big thing. So if you're not keeping up and releasing, you kind of get forgotten about, or at least you feel like you do.
the way social media is, I feel like, because everything is so instant, I think if you don't have that, I mean, you'll have your loyal fan base that's kind of going to be there whenever you do get something out. But there's others who maybe if they're not part of your loyal fan base, maybe if they don't see anything from you a while, they're going to move on to something else. And then you have to re-find them again when you do get something out. And it's just a lot of pressure to kind of keep going and doing that. And then it gets to the point where you're like, oh, this is so much fun. I want to do this full time. And we're all like that. We're like, yeah, I would love to do this full time. But it's also a lot of work to do it full time and keep cranking, books out and keeping everybody, there waiting. And then at some point you have to start realizing when you get to that point that some of the important things that you have to focus on instead of just writing is your branding, being consistent, and making sure that you're showing up and staying in people's faces all the time. Even if you don't have something coming out, like what I'll do a lot of times is like right now I'm in a spot where my book's released. I kind of took like a few weeks off and didn't do anything. And then now I'm starting back on my next project, but I'm constantly on there every day talking about, oh, well, this is what I'm working on now. This is kind of how my progress is going. So it keeps people kind of engaged. So you don't just totally lose them. But there's a lot of work to do that. And there's definitely some learning that has to occur to be able to keep those people engaged and interested while they're waiting for something new.
I also think it's important to find a balance between the two because I've caught myself in times where I am fully dedicated to the marketing and social media. And then somebody will ask me, well, what are you working on right now? And as I'm answering, I'm thinking, I haven't opened that document in 6 weeks. I need to write something.
I do too. And I have people all the time is like, hey, when are you going to finish this? When are you going to finish this? So I'm working on it. It takes time.
And sometimes that question is the kick in the butt you need that you're like, oh, I completely forgot that to be an author, I need to write.
Yeah. And so, if you want to keep readers long term, you got to build that trust with them. You have to build visibility and you have to build that connection with them. Books, used to, you could write a book and be kind of isolated, and then the book would get out there and it would kind of sell itself or whatever. But it just don't happen that way anymore. Not like it used to be.
Readers want to connect with the authors now.
Yes. Thanks to social media. One of the things that I found really interesting is how that asked somebody one time, how do you pick what you read next on your TBR? And their response was if they've got a big TBR list, then they're looking for that author that they feel like they have a connection to. And then that's whose books they read next. So it's definitely important to connect with the readers, connect with the audience, and that'll help get your books read, especially if you can find the readers that really connect with you good. You have to stop waiting for somebody to discover you. You have to get out there. You have to do the work, and you have to start treating success like you've just got to be intentionally building something, one project at a time, one reader at a time, and 1 year at a time, and realize that this isn't instant. If you do hit it big instantly, then you are definitely a rare few, and the algorithm gods just really loved you.
And you are going to have to fight to hold on to that.
Yeah. I mean, I have seen people before when I was doing other things, and I was doing almost the identical same things that somebody else was doing. And then they're just like skyrocketing, and I'm sitting down here with, struggling. And I'm like, what the heck is the difference? We're doing almost the exact same thing, the same process, the same everything. And then they're skyrocketing and you're not. And it's just all about when the algorithm latches onto you and finds something about you that it likes, that it just pushes and pushes and pushes. But like I said, that is a rare occurrence, and you shouldn't expect that all the time.
It also depends on which social media platform you use. Some authors
Yeah.
go on one platform and can never get a footing in another. So especially when you're first starting out, experiment with them. See which one you are able to get your best results on.
Yeah, because I mean, like, we do pretty well on TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
but I know other authors who don't do well on TikTok, but do really good on Instagram or do really good on Facebook. And then you may try those and you not do well at it. It's just really, I don't know. I haven't been able to figure out an answer for it yet.
Me neither. I have all three. I post all three. The only response I get is on TikTok.
Just remember, it's a long game. It's not a short game. Don't compare yourself to yourself. You're running a race against yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can't compete with JD or some of the other authors, because we're all in different places. And instead of focusing on what the other authors are doing and how they're doing, I really just need to be pushing myself to be better and doing the best that I can do. And I need to look at it from my point of view and just keep pushing me out there and not always comparing myself to some of these other ones out there who have more books than I have or who've been doing it longer than I have, and thinking that I've got to catch up to them, because I necessarily don't. And you don't have to either.
Not to say that it doesn't hurt to find yourself a buddy that you can joke that you have a competition going on when you know deep down there's not, but motivation.
Right here. We're always doing that with each other. JD's going, slow down, stop.
And guys,
And then,
another thing I think it's important to remember is if you want readers to love what you're writing, you have to love what you're writing. So if you're just putting a story out there because you think it fits a niche or a trope that readers are looking for, but you don't really like it, that's going to show in your writing. And the reason I bring this up is because I am primarily a dystopian author. I have quite a few dystopian books, but I had an itch and a need to write a gothic horror. I didn't put myself in a box because I figure if I enjoyed writing it, there'll be someone out there who enjoys reading it. So don't be afraid to take that leap.
but make sure that's something you enjoy. What I wouldn't recommend doing is looking to see what the most popular genre is that everybody's looking for, and thinking that that's the genre that you have to write if it's not something that really interests you and if it's not really your cup of tea. Like right now, there's a lot of people are go crazy over the dark romance and the things like that. And it would be really easy to fall into that lull and say, well, what I'm doing is not working, but this is what everybody's looking for. So I need to switch and start writing this. And that may not be something that you're comfortable writing, or it may not even be something that you enjoy writing. Chances are, if you don't enjoy reading it, you probably won't enjoy writing it. But I see so many people that they're like, it's what we call it, the shiny object syndrome. Oh, everybody wants this now. Okay, so now I'm going to stop and I'm going to go over here and I'm going to do this. Then all of a sudden, that's not it anymore. It's something else. And you're just always bouncing from one thing to another, trying to find that magic pill that's going to get you over. And you're just always chasing something when you could have been spending all of that time really developing your craft in the genre that you're really interested and want to do.
Exactly. Guys, if I ever saw a new release coming from Gideon and it said it was a dark romance biker smut, I'd be like, oh gosh, I need to go check on him. He's having a mental break.
So, I mean, there is plans for high fantasy,
which I can see
in the future, and I get a lot of flack about whenever I talk about I'm doing that. A few people are like, no, you need to wait. But again, the fantasy stuff is a genre that I do enjoy. That me and my daughter watch those movies all the time. I've spent 20 something years doing D&D, World of Warcraft type stuff. So I'm definitely, I've definitely had my time in the fantasy world.
that goes back to write what you love, because
Yes,
that's what you know, that's what you love, and your passion is going to show through in your words. Don't compare yourself to anyone else. Be you.
be you. So I think if you take anything away from this episode of the podcast, I would say remember that the emotional side of publishing your book is real. Just because you're struggling mentally, that doesn't mean that you're failing. Most authors don't fail because they lack talent. I feel like most people that fail do so because they quit when things get uncomfortable. In that slow part or the quiet part where nothing seems to be happening, they feel like that they did something wrong, and that's where people quit. And that is usually the part where the careers are actually being built.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say just kind of remember that.
You only fail if you give up. My hubby reminds me of that all the time. So,
Yep. And wherever you are in your writing journey right now, keep going, because the readers that you're hoping to find tomorrow can't find you if you're not writing today.
you always have the best words of advice.
Like with editing, you can't edit a blank page. Keep writing.
Feeling called out now.
I'm not calling anybody out. I just know I hear people all the time saying that, oh, well, I try to edit while I'm writing. How's that working for you? Just write it, get it down. I know. And I have too. And I keep ending up doing the same chapter 15 times. Chapter 1. And then you spend 5 years trying to write your first book, and then you get so frustrated that you end up just saying to heck with it and stop writing. Get it down, get it finished. It's kind of like my professors tell us in school right now about with our dissertation program. Just finish the damn thing.
You can polish it later, do all that stuff later.
Yep.
Get the bulk of it down now.
Yeah. Get it down, Get it wrote. Get it done. You can change the world later. Just get it done.
I love it. And guys, as always, if you want to talk with us, we're both on TikTok. You can drop us a comment down below. You can shoot us an email, shoot us a DM. We are available. You just gotta look for us. And I
That's
can
it.
tell you,
We're not hard
Gideon
to
is
find.
alive a lot more than me, but he is there.
We're not hard to find. And as long as you're not a spam bot, if you send me a message, I'll respond.
Yes. Don't be calling me a sugar baby in my chat, okay?
I was going to say the same thing. I'm not looking to be somebody's sugar baby, and I'm not looking to be your sugar daddy. But other than that, if you've got a question about writing, I get questions all the time about, hey, I got a story that I want to write, but I don't know where to start. Can you help me? What can I do? I even get somewhere people are like, I can't write. I've got a story that I want to tell. Will you ghost write it for me?
Guys, I can tell you, he's already got enough people telling him he needs to go straight.
Yeah, and I just always tell them I do not have time for that. I would be more than happy to give you advice and help you along the way, but I cannot do it for you. We're here to help you guys out. Kind of, if there's things that you're struggling with, ask us questions. We'll be happy to try to help you as much as we can. And we may not have all of the answers, but if we don't, we definitely know how to look for the answers to help you.
We've become experts at finding the
Yeah.
answers. All right. Well, we are just about out of time for this one. So I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye. Thank you guys. And I hope you will join us again next time.
Until next time, I'm Gideon Drake.
JD Crist.